Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Choose Only One Recording by Artist X, it would have to be Performance B, a recording B. Artist X being the one I'm going to present to the evil god Cankrazans to stop him from destroying all of classical music, but for one recording per artist, or one work per composer, depending on which list we're working with. I've got a perfect pick. I mean, oh my goodness, it's a perfect pick. Artist X is Martha Argerich, and Performance B, or Recording B, is the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto No. 1 with Claudio Abbado and the Berlin Philharmonic. One of the most astonishing, fabulous, exciting, thrilling performances of anything that you've ever heard in your mortal existence. Trust me on that one. Now, she, of course, has recorded this concerto 4 billion times. Well, actually, at least 2 other times, and some other live things are probably floating around there. Now, I did a bunch of talks, or a talk call on conductors who are their own worst enemies. And one of you perspicaciously said to me, well, if you're going to do artists, do Martha Argerich. And you were right, because she has definitely been her own worst enemy. She records the same stuff over and over and over and over. And she is such an exciting, thrilling, volatile, spontaneous artist that it's really pretty obvious when one performance isn't as good as the other performances. You know, I mean, when she's on, she's dazzling. She's unbelievable. When she isn't, she's a little less dazzling. She's still awfully good no matter what she does. I mean, she's an incredible musician, but she lives in a bubble like so many artists. And that bubble is, you know, she gave up doing solo concerts because she felt alone on stage. Well, you know, you don't feel very sympathetic to that, actually. I don't. I mean, she's a professional. Get the hell out there and play the damn music. That's how I feel about it. But look, she's entitled to do what she wants to do. And if that's how she feels, fine. That's how she feels. So she concertizes with others. And she has her friends who are those others, and they're not always as good as she is, and they're not always as on when she's on. And so the result is that she's an amazingly collegial person. I think probably making music with her must be one of the great experiences of anybody's life, particularly if the anybody is not as great as she is. But on the other hand, why do the record labels follow her around with the microphones and insist on releasing all of this stuff when it simply isn't up to her impossibly high standards? That makes no sense to me. She has her following. I know people buy the stuff. I bought the stuff. I had to buy the stuff for professional reasons. I don't follow her. I'm not a fan of anybody, but particularly, I look forward to hearing more artists than others. She's not one of them. And the reason she's not is because you wind up having to wait for that one incredibly special performance. It's fabulous when it happens. Of course, it's fabulous when it happens. But you got to, now, as it stands, you have to wade through lots of stuff to get to the great ones. It used to be that every new recording of hers was just an event. It was astonishing because there weren't so many of them. And because she was working with the top people who she enjoyed working with, and they were likely to create a combustible combination that was going to deliver first-class results. Lately, that hasn't so much been the case. It's that simple. So with Abbado, she was wonderful. I mean, this box has all of her recordings with Abbado in it. You've got the Prokofiev Third, the Ravel G Major, Chopin and Liszt piano concertos, another Ravel G Major. Yeah, she did a couple. Beethoven's Piano Concertos 2 and 3, which are actually not so fabulous. And the Mozart Piano Concertos 20-25 with Orchestra Mozart. The Abbado is not the best at that music as an accompanist, but it's okay. It's all right. What you do have is this Tchaikovsky first. Now, she recorded it first with Dutoit, also for Deutsche Grammophon and the Royal Phil. A wonderful performance. It was a reference recording till this one came along, which is even more, which just goes to show, just as there is no bottom, there is also no top. Things could always be worse, and they can always be better. Then there's also a live one with Kirill Kondrashin. I think it's with Bavarian Radio. That's the one that a lot of people really like because it's completely insane. It's just like off the charts nuts. She goes completely ape on the music, particularly the finale. And, it's got wrong notes flying all over the place, which is unusual for her. And it's a little bit messy in terms of coordination between solo and piano. Some people like that sort of thing. I think even more exciting for me is to have a performance which is almost every bit as thrilling, but which has every note where it ought to be, and a glorious accompaniment and coordination between solo and orchestra. In other words, as a performance of the work, it's head over heels the best thing she ever did in that repertoire, which means it's probably the best performance anyone ever did in that repertoire, because it's just dynamite Tchaikovsky First Piano Concerto. I mean, there is so much life and vitality and vigor. The first movement has no dead spots. The slow movement is enchanting, and the finale is hell for leather exciting. It's fabulous, but it's always together. You hear the risk of things going off the rails, but they never do. In that other recording, they do go off the rails. Some people prefer that. I'm not one of those. I'm really not. I would rather have her at her very, very best, and everybody doing 110% in the music on a great day when everything goes right. You can't always count on that. So here it is, one of the great recordings of one of the great concertos. You are not going to do better. I guarantee that. And I can throw this at the evil god Kenkrazans, God, whatever the heck he is, and say, ha, just think, she recorded the same concerto several other times, and God knows what else. And you don't want to let us not enjoy those other ones, do you? I don't think so. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.